Hello, everybody, and welcome to This Week in Legacy for our Player Spotlight series. My name is Joe Dyer, and I'm here with a very special guest. We have with us one of Legacy's graveyard deck specialists. I'm here with Vicente Mahfuz. Otherwise, you might know him as MahfuzVanGogh on Magic Online. So, Vicente, how are you today? Welcome to the column.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me here, Joe. This is a first thing for me as well, talking about why I'm playing Magic and Dredge and everything else. So I'm excited to be here. Well, this is Sunday, so this is my day off. So for me, it's always a pleasure to rest because I work a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone knows that, but I'm a teacher, so I teach from Monday to Saturday, so Sunday for me it's really relaxed day. So I'm happy to be here. I'm excited to be here. So let's do it.
Yeah, so let's start off. So you mentioned you're a teacher. Let's start off talking about you. Like, where do you come
Okay.
from, and what kind of led you into magic, that sort of thing. But yeah, really, just like really about you. Like, let's talk about you.
Well, I'm from Brazil. I live in Brazil in Florianópolis. It's a city next to the sea in south of Brazil. We have many beautiful islands and beaches here, and well, I'm 40 years old. I play since my 12, since I was 12.
Wow.
Yeah, I was kind of starting my teenage years, and I saw Magic the Gathering for the first time when I was trying to get into role-playing games. I saw that and I was amazed by the artwork and the strategy aspect of the game. But since my beginning as a player, as a MTG player, I always played on kitchen tables. I never tried to be a pro player or anything like that. So only in 2016, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
so eight years ago, I decided, well, let's go to FNMs and try to win some standard tournaments. We had no Pioneer at the time. So I try to build the standard decks to play every Friday. But then I got kind of in a bad mood after 2 years because the format was always rotating and I needed to
Mm-hmm.
change my decks. And I had not that much money at that time to to lose almost $1,000 changing decks every single year.
Right.
So I decided, well, let's try some eternal formats. To actually, this can be a smart decision if I just stick to a deck for 1, 2, 3 years, and then from there, if I see myself playing more and more Magic, maybe I can even play other decks. But it all began when I met another guy who was trying to sell his leadless dredge.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have the Lion's Eye Diamond, but he had everything else, and it was a budget option to start playing Legacy. And then I bought the deck and I started playing just with my friends in local tournaments. Here in Brazil, we don't have that many Legacy tournaments, right? Even in 2018, when I started to play
Mm-hmm.
Legacy, uh, we had here where I live, we had one tournament per month, and that's it. So uh, 1 year later, I started to play on Magic Online, and and I just love the deck I chose to begin playing in Legacy. I love Dredge, and for many of my friends, this is a weird choice because they love other decks
Right.
like Delver and Control decks, and my friends started to just call me, oh yeah, here comes the Dredge guy. So because sometimes as a friendly way to call me when I just enter the room. But sometimes, as I, I I I noticed that some players really don't like to play against Dredge, not at all. So, oh yeah, the Dredge guy, yeah. So, okay. So we have to play. Oh yeah, we are paired to play today. Yeah, I don't like your deck. So now when I started to build my own page on YouTube and Patreon, I took this the Dredge guy as a good thing, not as a bad thing, because yeah, I am the Dredge guy. I love to play Dredge, so I decided to even call myself like that. So that's a little bit about me.
So, yeah. So you mentioned legacy. So you mentioned, how what drew you to that. Just wanting to be within an eternal format. Was it just the opportunity of the person had the deck and they were willing to sell it to you,
Yeah,
or
I
or
didn't know anything about Legacy
okay,
actually. I just thought, well, maybe Modern, maybe Legacy, but I had some friends in the Legacy format, and I did not understand anything about Legacy at the time. But I saw Leadless Dredge for something around $40, $40, and then I go, okay, I'll try it. Why not? This is so cheap. I'll try it. And in my first tournament, it was that tournament had something about 50 players maybe,
okay,
and I got 12th position,
it's
something
pretty
like
good.
that, in my first tournament with a budget deck. So for me, it was a moment of I don't know. I had some epiphany moments at the time. So well, you don't need to have uh, a $10,000 deck to win
Right.
tournaments in Magic. You can try to win with less than that. And so, of course, I started uh, to to do my research and try to buy some LEDs one at once, one at a time, to well get my collection to try to choose whatever I want to play at any moment. But then when I finally built my LED dredge, my traditional build of LED dredge, it was already a 2019,
Right.
2019. And I remember just a few months ago, Endurance was printed by Wizards.
Feels like
And
forever ago, doesn't it?
yeah. It seems like forever, but
It was really what, just like
it was
last
just
year?
1 year or
No,
less than
no,
one
2 years
year.
ago, almost 2 years ago
Yeah,
this year. Yeah.
yeah, and then I just stopped winning that much because everyone was playing endurance, even if it wasn't the best choice, but everyone wasn't playing endurance. Modern Masters, kind of no, Modern Horizons kind of
Right. Right.
uh, wrecked my dream at the time. And then I decided, well, I noticed that I was almost always losing games where I had the LED, because LED is a kind of an all-in card in traditional LED dredge.
Right.
If you wait too much to crack your LED, you just give your opponent the opportunity to be ahead of you. So you want to discard your hand as soon as possible. But with endurance played around in almost every green deck, I just decided, well, let me try new things. So I started to build a competitive leadless dredge. At the beginning with rainbow lands, and then
Right.
with basic islands, and then I just built different dredge decks. And from that point until now, I think I may between every different dredge deck that I built so far, maybe 4 or 5 different competitive dredge decks. I won tournaments with them in paper and online. And but I never tried to be a reference for other players. I just played as I said to you before, I work a lot. So, well, today I have 2 hours. Let me play a Legacy League on MTGO. Or well, today I'm gonna meet my friends and I'll go play my favorite deck. So that was always my mind, my thoughts, my energy. But from last year's, last year in April, last year in March or April, when I won a Legacy Challenge with Blue Dredge, many players started to ask me, "Well, you please, you should teach us because we cannot do what you do with your deck." And I decided, well, I'll do my best. I'll try to teach because well, I am a teacher, and
Right.
in my field, I am a teacher who really likes to teach beginners in my field. I'm
Mm-hmm.
a yoga teacher and a meditation teacher. I teach meditation and yoga. So I decided to start something I don't know, some movement to help other Dredge players. And I noticed that Dredge sometimes is a deck that uh, other players who don't play Dredge sometimes cannot understand it at all.
Right.
So when you take Dredge for a first run, you know, never play Dredge. We saw even good players that have their own YouTube channel. So sometimes they want to do a video playing Dredge, and it is a catastrophe because they they don't know how to play the deck. It is really
Mm-hmm.
different from everything else. So I decided to do my best to help other people when I had the time. And I even, for the first time in my life, I'm taking some hours almost every day to answer players and maybe create some content
Mm-hmm.
to social media. And yeah, and that's it. That's that's a little bit about all this stuff.
Hey, that's great. Honestly, like, so the contents portion. Let's hone in on that. So you you had this win with the challenge. People were just like, "Hey, I want to know more about this deck," and at some point you were like, "Man, I wonder if I should just put out videos or stuff like." You have a Patreon now and
Yeah. I have a
everything. So,
patron.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
The Dredge guy is my
yeah.
patron.
So like kind of like walk us through like what led you to that thought process of okay, you know, yeah, I'm like I'm helping people out, but what led you to take that next step to say, okay, maybe I just record what I'm doing so I can show people.
Yeah, you know, since I work a lot, it was really difficult for me to just create some space in my schedule to do this each day for free. So I decided, well, maybe this can be a hobby, but maybe I can have something in return doing this, so I can really embrace this path, not as something that I do so way. No, I want to, for example, about Blue Dredge. I wrote dozens of articles about it, some of them with more than 10 pages. So I'm also a scientific researcher in my field, so a researcher. I research I like to write articles, scientific articles sometimes.
Okay.
So I put this knowledge that I have from how to write articles to teach something to beginners from from another field, not Magic the Gathering. So I try to do more or less the same thing when I write something about Magic the Gathering. Of course, I write only inside my Patreon, but my patrons usually are really surprised when they see the quality of my content. I wish I could do even more because I like to do this. So you know, Patreon sometimes is a page only to support your favorite content creator, right? Not
Right.
every Patreon page, not every page will have new articles, new content every week. But I try to keep the pace going to write something else. So when I just 3 4 years, I'm sorry, 3 weeks ago, I had another idea. I tried to build a turbo version of Dredge, and I instantly offered to my patrons uh, a quick sideboard guide, not so quick, 6 pages, talking about how to sideboard
Wow.
against the 10 favorite decks from our metagame right now. And then probably tomorrow I will expand this article to 20 decks. And so because I like to do my best to people. Sometimes I have one patron that just a few days ago asked me, well, in my area, in my LGS, I have many other players playing this specific deck that is not so meta game, I know, but not so meta for everyone. But for me, it will be really helpful if you could write something about it. And then I take this challenge. Okay, so I will expand my guide to help this specific person. This is something that I do on my Patreon. Many of my patrons write to me through private messages, and I just answer them and help them individually. I still can do it because I really like to, as I said, as a teacher that I am,
Right.
I like to really help people to understand something. So, of course, I'm not that fluent sometimes in English. I'm talking to you right now, but I learned English all by myself, just
Wow.
watching videos, movies, and even MTG content. So sometimes I struggle when I talk to you here. I change some words, maybe I change some articles, some verbs sometimes. But when I write something about Magic the Gathering, I have the time to correct myself and try to understand better. Because I actually started to learn English as a language when I was studying at my master's degree, and then on my PhD. I needed to read many articles from other languages. And as I kind of said before, I had not much money when I some years ago.
Right.
So but I always like to learn new things. In Magic the Gathering is like more or less the same for me. We talked a lot about Dredge, right? Since I am the Dredge guy. So I noticed that for many other players, I see that on our Discord, I see that on other local players here who also play Dredge, that sometimes people think that the deck, not now, not after I'm doing what I'm doing, but until 1 or 2 years ago, I noticed that players usually had that feeling that Dredge was an old deck, not so competitive, not good enough, because we had no new flashy cards to add to our deck, right?
Right.
Control decks had Uru, Beanstalk, and many other things, even banned cards some years ago,
Right.
like Astrolabe and something like that. And Dredge had what? Hogak and maybe Ox of Agonis. So when I decided to include cards that see play only in Modern, like Otherworldly Gaze, uh, all the other Dredge players, even on Discord and people who play Dredge for a long time, say to me, "No, this is crazy. What are you doing? This card is too slow for Legacy." And then I like to test. I like to test. I decided to include it in my testing. I started to win more. So maybe sometimes we just need to do our homework to test new cards,
Right. Yeah.
because instead of just saying no to some, I don't know, novelties. So I am that player who like to test, to build new decks, try. I am that guy.
Not afraid to cut the sacred cows for the
Yeah,
to
yeah,
try.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
And
So
honestly, you got to be willing to do that. Like, that's how you learn what works and what doesn't. I think personally.
yeah, yeah, I think this is something that you can do in your life, and because this is something that is the way you approach life sometimes. Are you narrow-minded for some new things that come to you when you wasn't expecting something just uh, is showed to you in your life, and you just close your eyes because wasn't what you were expecting? Or you just open your eyes and try to understand things that you don't know yet, because it is something good to try to see the world that the world is so big, the world
Right.
is amazing, and sometimes not only in Magic but in life. I see in my family, I see in my friends, I see in my students that sometimes people in general like to talk about what they already know, what they already have studied, but not everyone open themselves to new things easily. And I don't know if you know something about yoga, but
I do not, unfortunately. No.
in yoga as a philosophy, we are always hitting this sweet spot of trying to open our mind to the new, because because that's the only way to learn and to evolve. If we stick to what we already know, we will not evolve to anything else. And life is the biggest opportunity to do this, maybe the only one.
Right.
So just maybe here reaching other degrees of thoughts, but that's the way I see.
Yeah. So let me push forward just a little bit here before we wrap up. So you've been playing Legacy now for a while, for quite a while.
Yeah, 5 to 6 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you actively, or have you dabbled in any other formats at this point now in your life, or have you, kind of stayed away from them and just stuck directly with Legacy?
I love Legacy, but as I just say, I think as I just said, I think we should try new things. And since I started my YouTube channel, I had some followers already hitting me with some questions about Pauper and Vintage,
Okay.
and and even Modern and Pioneer. And I say to them, okay, I'll try it because I have no expertise right now, but maybe soon, because I like to test it. I like to test everything. So maybe soon I'll try to play other formats as well. I don't play them because I don't have that much time yet.
Right.
But for example, I know that some pro players in MTGO play the Legacy Challenge and then the Vintage Challenge, and the next day the Pauper Challenge and the Limited Challenge.
Yeah,
So
that's a lot.
yeah, and I have my Sundays as my day off that I can play some Magic. Sometimes a Saturday morning, but not every Saturday, and some hours through the week. But I'm trying to actually, since all this movement is going in a good direction, I'm trying to free some other hours in my
Okay.
schedule to maybe investigate other formats as well.
Okay.
I like the idea to build. I noticed that just maybe 1 month or some weeks ago, since Dredge Return was printed in as a common in Pauper, now there is a Pauper Dredge,
Yeah.
really competitive. Yeah,
Yep. Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
And Pioneer players are always trying to do a dredgeless dredge deck. How can you do it?
Right.
Because they want to play graveyard strategies. And well, I'm waiting to maybe see a new dredge card at some point, because I remember that Wizards Mark Rosewater, I think he said that Storm and Dredge probably would never had new cards. And then Storm players had Galvanic Relay and other cards,
Yeah.
Chatterstorm and other
Yeah.
cards. So what about Dredge? Come on, Dredge needs some love.
Right.
And
I think the last dredge card we got was Shenanigans, I believe.
yeah, Shenanigans.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. Everyone tries everyone tried to do something with Shenanigans, but no one really liked that card. No? If maybe if it was an instant, and even if it had a dredge too, I don't know.
Right.
But it is too slow. We need something more.
Right. Have you ever dabbled in any other archetypes in Legacy at all?
Yeah, but only as a joke between friends.
Okay.
I
Your
we
buddy
had
says, "Here,
this.
play Delver for the night."
Yeah. So last time I
Let's see
did
how
it,
you do.
I tried to play Death and Taxes, and my Death and Taxes friend tried to play Dredge, and we played one next to the other. we are paired against other friends, and but he looked at what I was doing, and I could look what he was doing, and it was a complete mess. It's like I don't know. It's like two different animals trying to do two different
Right.
hunts.
Right.
Completely wrong. I remember doing the right thing on turns 1 and 2, and then and he in turn 1 he already messed up. So yeah, I believe that playing different decks, especially in a format like Legacy, especially in our metagame right now that we have dozens of different competitive decks. There was some moments some years ago that Delver was pretty dominant, and there was another moment when 5-color control was dominant, and then Astrolabe was banned. But and other moments we had maybe 5 or 6 good decks, and every other deck was like tier C or D. And I think now we live in a moment that Legacy is healthy. It seems to me that Legacy is healthy. After Archball Masters and the One Ring, everyone was scared, right?
Right.
Oh, wow, Archball Masters, so no one will play Brainstorm ever again. You see that the format can adapt.
Yeah.
It always can. And now even Brainstorm decks play with Bowmasters. And talking about Bowmasters, Dredge is a great choice against Bowmasters decks because you
Don't
can
draw
just
cards.
yeah, you can, if you sequence your plays in the right way, you just don't draw cards, just Dredge. And of course, Orcish Bowmasters can hit itself to die, so can exile your bridges, but you can play around that, and you can win with some ease.
Awesome. Well, I think we're going to go ahead and get wrapping up here. So, where can, if people want to find you, obviously we're going to link all this stuff in the video description and in the article and stuff like that. But where can people find you on your social media and obviously plug your Patreon, man? Like that's great.
Oh yeah, thank you. So my YouTube channel so far I have only my channel has only 4 videos, but I'm trying to publish a new video every week about different dredge strategies in Legacy, but soon maybe other formats as well. And from my YouTube page, you can go to my Patreon or my Twitter. You can just search for my name, my nickname, MahfuzVanGogh,
Okay.
or you can just look for the Dredge guy on YouTube or on my Patreon. The links will be here at some
Right.
down here at some point.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll
But
throw them all in the description.
what I would like to say to our viewers here is that I'm enjoying this movement that you see since last month. I already had answered maybe 30 or 40 players who say to me, "Whoa, Dredge was my first legacy deck, but I stopped playing Dredge for a long time. I didn't play the deck because I thought it wasn't competitive anymore. And now I'm seeing you doing good results with the deck, and I want to understand it. I want to play it again. I'm having so maybe really soon Dredge will be more and more played than now, because I think Dredge is a strong deck, and it is criminally underrated by many players. And I think Dredge could be in a great position in our current meta. And you see, I'm not just a player who stick to a deck and that's it. I think that the deck is a good choice, and that's what I want to show to my viewers and to my supporters. I think Dredge can be a really good choice. If Dredge wasn't a good choice to win tournaments, I would probably try to look elsewhere. But I do believe Dredge is a good choice to win a tournament. So that's it.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you very much. It's great. Seriously, awesome to have you on this week for the column. I really
My
appreciate
pleasure.
it. Absolutely. So everybody, go check out the Patreon and subscribe and everything. Yeah, absolutely. So all right. So I don't know which one we're gonna. Some housekeeping. I don't know what we're gonna do in the future with the next one of these. I'm not. Obviously, we're gonna do all of these this year as video. I'm still learning a little bit about that part, as well as my most of my guests are learning for the first time too, because I had TK on the last time, and it was kind of his first time kind of doing this kind of thing as well. So a lot going on, but I definitely will definitely do another one of these in the future here. I'll hunt down somebody to do the column with. If you have any uh, if you have any suggestions or anything like that as to people you want to have out there, any of the viewers, the readers of the article, I'll try my best to reach out to that person and see if they're interested. Obviously, I've done quite a few of these with a lot of different people at this point, so but obviously not as many of the video ones. So, but yeah, make sure to continue to like, subscribe, follow my YouTube channel where this is hosted, and we'll see you guys at next time we do one of these. And I want to just wish you all hope you all have a great night, and we'll talk to you guys later.